Hey everybody, welcome to The Warp. I'm Jack Reeder with Future Pastimes. And in this video, I'm going to look at 3 yellow alert aliens that I think are underrated. That is that when people are dealt them, I have found that a lot of times they just go, I don't know, and then they pick something else. But I almost always will choose these aliens, depending on which ones I'm dealt, because I do think that they're pretty effective and consistently effective. That makes them pretty underrated in my book. And so let's take a look at them, what they do, and why I like them. So we're going to start off with Human. Human is from the base game. Its first appearance in Cosmic Encounter is in the Fantasy Flight edition. And this is an alien that was contributed by the Dukester, who was a Cosmic fan, who had a Cosmic blog back in the early mid-2000s and talked a lot about Cosmic Encounter. And so he's one of the super fans that Kevin Wilson tracked down and got an alien to contribute to the game. So Human, pretty straightforward. It's a short description, mostly harmless. That's a little Easter egg for anyone who can figure that one out. So you have the power of humanity. As a main player or ally, after encounter cards are revealed, use this power to add 4 to your side's total. If this power is zapped, however, your side automatically wins the encounter. So it's pretty short, pretty straightforward. And a lot of people think, well, the best thing about Human is that if you zap it, you automatically win. And that is pretty good, but that's not really the reason why I think it's underrated and actually very effective. It's that +4, which everyone seems to forget about. It happens when they're a main player or an ally. So if they're involved in the encounter, they are contributing another 4 in addition to their ships. They bring 4 ships. That's a +8 right there in their encounter. And since there's no tokens or any other visual reminder of it, a lot of people forget about it. They're sitting there counting the ships on each side and adding it to the attack cards. And they're like, well, we're up by 2, and they're throwing down reinforcements. And then somebody goes, well, you know that Human's also adding another 4. And that almost always makes the difference. So Human, very effective alien. Because it's consistent. That +4 ain't nothing. It's a nice little extra bump that you get, even if they only have 1 ship, even if they're the defense and they have no ships. They're still adding 4 to that total. And a lot of times we find that more often than not, the encounter totals are in the 4 range. You know, I won by 2, I won by 3, I won by 4. Well, thank you, Human, for that. And then, of course, yes, the Cosmic Zap. It's always a nice extra little thing that you can throw in there to save the day. The next one is also from the base game, and this is an alien that goes way back, Philanthropist. The Philanthropist is probably the most underrated alien. A lot of people, they read through it and they think, what, this is a power? Doesn't seem great. Let's take a look at what it does. You have the power of giving. As a main player or ally, again, this is an alien that gets to, they're involved. After alliances are formed, you may use this power to give 1 card from your hand to either main player, to your opponent if you are a main player. Your opponent immediately adds this card to their hand and may play it normally. If after using this power you do not have any encounter cards in your hand and you are a main player, you draw a new hand. So you don't lose the turn. You don't end your turn as the offense if you have given away your last encounter card. And in fact, you don't even have to technically give away. It just says, if after using this power, you do not have any encounter cards in your hand and you are a main player, you draw a new hand. Now, again, there's a whole thing about when do you draw new hands, and there's a video about that, which you'll be able to see shortly. But let's limit to you've given away your last encounter card, and then you get a new hand. But that's not really even the best thing about this. The best thing about this is that Philanthropist is one of the best hand management aliens in Cosmic Encounter, because you're able to give away the cards that you don't want in your hand. Oh, I've got too many low attack cards. Well, boop, 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 let's get rid of those. I've got more negotiates than I need. Let's get rid of those. But there's more to it than that, because you can basically, depending on the aliens and the situations, you can curate, really, a lot of interesting situations. So let's say you do have a couple of negotiates, and you're a main player, that's opposing you doesn't. So you say, you know what? Let's make a deal. And just to help things out, I'm giving you a negotiate card. So now I know that you can make a deal. And that makes those deals easier. The opposing main player doesn't always have the negotiate card. Let's say that you're in an encounter with a reserve who can play low attack cards as reinforcements. Well, Philanthropist can't play an attack 5 as a reinforcement, but they can give that to reserve who is their ally or on their side, and now they can. They can give some other attack card to cavalry who can then play it. They can give a negotiate to the nanny who will be able to use that for something. Low attack cards to the antimatter. All kinds of things. They can give an artifact to Mesmer and let Mesmer play it as something that everybody needs them to play it as. So a lot of situations that normally can't occur or don't get to occur as often as you might want suddenly can, because the sharing of cards is not something that normally gets done. You have to go through making a deal in order to share cards. But Philanthropist makes that happen. So they're getting to draw new hands more often. They're getting the lousy cards out of their hands, and they're also getting cards to players who can use them and may appreciate it. So that may get you the invite that you need. The main player doesn't have a good attack card. We'll say, well, invite me along, and I can make that happen. Boom, Philanthropist. And then the last one I'll talk about is from Cosmic Conflict, and it is Graviton. And this is an alien that I recently have seen in a couple of games. One that I was playing it, and everyone afterwards was like, "Ugh, I didn't think that was going to flatten us," no pun intended, as much as it did. And in another game, it was another player who made that discovery. They were like, "Oh, I'm going to try this out." They didn't seem that excited about it, but after 2 or 3 encounters, they were like, "I love this alien. This is really good." So let's look at this. The power of gravity. As a main player, after encounter cards are selected, but before they're revealed, so you've played the card down, and so has your opponent. That is when you may use this power to either say 10s or 1s. And if you do so, then any attack cards revealed in the encounter use only that digit as their value. For instance, if you say 10s, an attack 40 would become an attack 4. And an attack 9 would be an attack 0 because it's a 0-9. So the 10s in that instance is the 0. And if you said 1s, those same cards would be an attack 0 because the 40, it's a 4-0, and the 1s is the 0 is the 1s thing, and then the attack 9 would still be a 9. So this really lets Graviton make the most of their hand. They can look at the hand and they can say, all right, look, I've got a 15. Well, 15 is maybe not a good example because 1 and a 5 is no good. But you're looking at the 8 is good for you because there's only one other card that's going to be better than that, and that would be a 9. And so the other player has to commit ahead of time. They have to say, all right, I'm playing this card. So if they play a 15, it's not going to be worth a 15. It's going to be a 1 or a 5. So it really takes some of those mid-range cards, anything, from 10 to the 23, that is going to be a real kick in the pants for them because that's going to drop their value way down. And because you're Graviton, you're the one that's deciding that, you can really take advantage of, what's in your hand and you know what you can make out. So an attack 6 is still going to be an attack 6, but it's going to probably be a lot closer in value to what your opponent plays if you use your power. So even if they do play 9, now they're only, it's a difference of 3. It would have been anyway, but if they played a 19, well, that's a much bigger difference if you don't use your power. So dealing with a 9 versus dealing with a 19, it's 10 better. You're now within a nice spread. If humans on your side, you just won because you get that +4. So I think Graviton is great because it makes the ship numbers even more critical. So if you have committed a lot of ships as Graviton and you get your allies to commit a lot, you know that by using your power, it's probably going to come down to ships, and the player with the ship advantage on their side is more often not going to be the one that wins those encounters. So it's really the soft benefit for Graviton is that it's easier for you to get allies, because you know that if they commit in there, they've got a pretty decent shot at it. Even if somebody plays a Cosmic Zap, of course, it's good to have a lot of ships on your side. But now you don't have to worry about, well, all your cards are basically in a very short range of values. So they're all relatively good compared to anything anybody else is going to have. So that's why I think it's underrated, and it's actually a very effective alien. Let me know what you think of these 3 aliens. Did you think that they were underrated before? Have you always been onto the fact that, yes, these are pretty effective aliens, consistently effective too. They're not powerhouses, okay, and that's fine. But yeah, they're better than average, I think. So let me know what you think in the comments and any other fun stories you have seeing these aliens in action. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.